everyone, I'm here today to show you a quick 10-minute or less glute workout. So this is a workout that you can add to an existing workout. You can add it to your yoga practice, you can do it pre or post run, or you can just do it on your own. So today you're going to need a resistance band. You're going to need one of the loop resistance bands. I'm going to be using fabric resistance bands that are made specifically for your glutes. That is not necessary. The regular loop mini resistance bands will work just fine. But these are a little bit wider and they stay put a little bit better. So this came in a pack of 3, so I have a light, medium, and a heavy. Most of them do come in packs, so kind of play with it and see where you want to start. Remember, you can always decrease and go down a band, or you can take it up a notch. So I'm going to be working with the medium band today. We're just going to do a couple of moves here. This is a great way to warm up your body if you're doing a leg workout. It is a great thing to do pre or post yoga, and it's also a great exercise or workout for runners. Glutes are really important to your overall health and well-being. They help with your posture, and they're a big part of your strength and your comfort level in staying active. So I'm going to start with the band right above my knees. What we want to start off is making sure that we're not knocking our knees in and we're not taking our knees out past our toes. So keeping those knees with the toes, you'll have to put a little bit of resistance on in order to keep that band up. So we're going to start with some side steps. Nothing fancy here. We're just going to walk from side to side. I'm on my yoga mat today. If you're not on a mat, don't worry. You can use a similar length or just travel wherever you are. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to start leading with my right leg. Make sure I'm engaging my core, belly button in, pulling it up. And we're just going to step nice and slow. When we're using these bands, the slower we go, the better. It's going to be your natural tendency to want to quickly bring the legs back together to avoid that resistance. But the more you can stay in that discomfort, stay in that little pull, the better you are. So we're just going to move back and forth here. We're going to go 4 rounds. So once you get comfortable with these moves, you can make up your own little workout. You can do as many rounds as you'd like. But if you have an appropriate amount of resistance here, you're probably already feeling the sensation in the outer thighs. So that was round 1. Make sure that you face the same direction the entirety of this move because we want to lead with opposite legs. Make sure we hit both sides. You may have noticed almost immediately that you have one side that's a little bit stronger than the other, and that's okay. You're going to keep the knees nice and soft so we're not locking out the knees, but the legs are staying mostly straight here. Take round 3. Resist the urge to speed up as it gets a little bit more uncomfortable. Stay nice and slow and steady here and make sure you maintain that resistance. Don't avoid it. Make sure your feet are staying nice and flat. I'm working out barefoot so I can feel the surface underneath my feet. Of course, that's not a requirement. And we'll take it up one more time. All right, after this, we're gonna get into our hamstrings just a little bit. So we're gonna be using our core. The glutes are a big part of our core. We're gonna be using our core a lot throughout this. So we wanna make sure we stand up nice and tall, keeping those little ribs over the top of your hips. As you breathe in, try to create some additional space here so we're not slumping over, but standing up nice and tall. And we're gonna work with our hamstrings a little bit. So you can take your hands to your hips. If you feel the urge to need to lean over, you can also use a wall to support you. Just keep the fingertips on the wall, don't lean into the wall. So we're just gonna do some leg lifts here. Now, as you find that resistance, it's gonna be really easy to take the toes out to the side, but we wanna make sure all 5 toes point down to the ground. We're gonna start with 10 each side. So light lift, you can find that glute, find that hamstring, and slowly bring it back in. 9, 8, make sure you're not leaning over into that left leg. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, shake out your legs for just a moment. You should have felt that in the glute of your stabilizing leg as well. You can take your hands back to your hips or use that wall. We'll go into the second side, making sure that those left toes point down at the ground. Let's lift up for 10, nice and slow. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, from here we're going to come into some body weight squats with the added band. So taking those feet out slightly wider than hip distance, belly button's pulling in and up. We've got lots of space in between those ribs and hips. You can take your hands into heart center, you can take them to your hips, wherever they need to be. We're gonna press out through those outer and inner thighs and then lower down. So nice and slow. You'll notice that resistance band wants to bring the knees in. We're gonna press out. And then as we come up, scoop the glutes underneath you, not thrusting the hips forward, but lining everything back up as you stand up nice and tall. We're gonna do 10 here. So the addition of the band is gonna slow us down. We're gonna get a little bit stronger in those legs. It's a little bit added effort. We're gonna do 5 more, nice and slow. 4, scoop up underneath you. 3, 2, 1 more. All right, from here, we're gonna come into my favorite. It's called a Groucho walk. And I like to think of, if you were in yoga, coming into Malasana. We're gonna come, toes are gonna point forward. We're gonna take our sitting bones back. We're gonna come into a squat position. Now, your legs are gonna fatigue really quickly here. So make sure that we're not thrusting the knees forward to try to get out of those glutes to run away from the discomfort. And make sure we're not letting the knees knock in. We wanna train our muscles to get stronger, but we wanna make sure that we're training them to go in the correct way. So we don't wanna walk around with our knees knocking in. We want to press them out and have nice, strong legs, nice, strong glutes. So again, core is gonna lift in and up here. I'm gonna come nice and low, and we're just gonna walk. So make sure when you walk that those toes are going straight forward and not in. Coming here, and just like we started, we're gonna do 4, because when we get to the top of our mat, or whatever surface you're using, we're gonna go backwards. So make sure I'm using those glutes right here, and then nice and slow. Slow and steady here. The slower you go, the more sensation you're going to feel. Go to the back edge of the mat. We'll go back forward for round 2. And back. Nice and slow. Keep that chest lifted. Don't round in your shoulders. Shoulder blades will travel down your spine. All right, round 3. Nice and slow. Press out through those outer thighs. And back. All right, one more round. The tighter your legs get, the slower you need to move to make sure you're keeping good form. We're gonna go back all the way to where we started. And rest. Shake out your legs for just a moment. We're gonna come into one more move here. So if you're doing this on your own and you want a little bit longer, you can go back to the beginning and repeat all the moves. If you're wanting to do this in conjunction with another workout or as a warm-up, then you can be done after this last move. We're gonna travel once again. This time we're going to do side squats. So a combination of that Groucho walk, the squats, and the side steps that we began with. One more traveling move. We're gonna stay with 4. We're gonna go each way. So soft bend in the knees, sitting bones back, step it out, squat, and bring it together. Keep that soft bend in your knees, stick it back, together. And back, leading with the left leg now. So we're gonna keep facing the same direction to make sure we lead with both legs. And round 2. And back. And so once again, notice how the knees want to pull in. They want to fight against that resistance. Press out. You're definitely going to feel the sides of your glutes here. And each time you move your legs, lift up with your glutes. Use your muscles, not your joints, and not your momentum. Round 3. If you picked the appropriate resistance, you definitely should be feeling the burn. And back. We're going to take one more round. Scoop up with those glutes. Press out with the inner thigh and the outer thigh. Sitting bones back. Lean back in your heels. All right, let's take it back to the top. All right, and rest. Shake out your legs. If you're done here, you can take off that band. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.